All right, now that we got our lower all torn apart, we can look at the major components here. So I'm going to start off with the grip. This is a classic style Phoenix Trinity grip. Their first version that they came out with, which didn't have any traction on it. I actually like the smooth. That way I can put my own grip tape on it, that kind of stuff. You can, and I wanted to like show you guys some of the wear items inside of this guy, so you can see there's a pretty significant amount of wear here where it mates to the underside of the frame. And to me, this is kind of surprising because you wouldn't think that the grip would shift around the frame much, but I think there's more to the story that we're going to get to here in a second. But this grip has been great. The new Atlas Alpha grip is supposed to be even better because you have exchangeable panels and that kind of stuff. So I look forward to getting one of those when they get it to me. But I'll set this guy aside to get it out of the way for now. And we'll look at the ancillary parts. So you have your grip screws and T-nuts and that kind of stuff. One thing about these T-nuts is that sometimes they can crack. You want to keep an eye on these guys. Sometimes they'll crack and then you got to replace them, that kind of thing. I kind of consider those kind of a consumable thing, especially if you tighten them down super hard. The slide lock pin. So this is the third slide lock pin that's been in this guy. You can see the wear marks from the lower lugs of the barrel. This one is only worn about 1/1000ths, where these little minuscule flat marks are. So this guy is still good to go for quite a while. So I'll set that aside. Then we have our mainspring housing. This thing lasts forever pretty much. Our sear spring. This thing, it's kind of funny, kind of shows the exposure this thing's been to. You can see that there's like little rust pock marks and that kind of stuff. It kind of shows what the environment that this gun has been exposed to, shooting in like humid, rainy conditions, that kind of thing, where even though the coating doesn't reflect that, but some of the inner parts do. We have our safeties from the outside. They look like still brand new, like they haven't been used. But if we look at the undersides, we can see where they rub against the frame. It's rubbed those silver marks, flipping those safeties on and off a bunch of times. So you're going to get a little bit of wear. It's to be expected. Then we have the sear hammer and disconnector. And as I said before, I had to feed a new disconnector to this gun because the tip of the disconnector got wore down on the old one. So it wasn't pushing the disconnector down far enough to reset the trigger reliably. This is the original hammer and the original sear. I've redone the first and second surface on that and the hammer hooks a couple times. I think 3 times total that I've redone this trigger job, and it's still running strong. Functions really good. So that kind of brings me to the next thing here, which is the frame. So I'm going to show the normal wear items here. You can see on the inside here, we have some wear, and that was existing before when I did my 50K review. And we have the same kind of wear on the top portion where the frame rails are. Let me see if I can get a good view of that, the shininess, and a little bit into the sides. You can see in here a little bit of wear. It's to be expected, nothing bad, no galling or mushrooming or peening going on. A lot of people are like, oh, use a 9-pound spring, is that going to beat your gun to death? No. You can see that there's normal wear going on there. One of the weird spots on these frames that is kind of like a weak spot, if we look at this structurally, this right-hand side of the frame, if we look down the side, it's all solid, nice and thick all through here. But on the left side, we have this cutout. Well, this cutout has a weak spot in it, and it usually causes a crack to start right here. And on every single 2011 I've owned, I've had at least a crack here, if not more, digging down into and cracking through the frame. So unfortunately for this gun, at about 75K, I noticed that this crack was going all the way through. And let me see if I can you can see some daylight through there. If I flex the frame, you can see it on the inside there. Let's see if I can get the right angle. Yep, you can kind of see it there. So if I give this a flex, you can see that that crack is going all the way through the frame. Now, that's a super bummer. And once again, I think that that is what's kind of translated to this wear on the underside of the frame and the top side of the grip. As the gun fires, this frame is flexing around a little bit, and it causes that rubbing. Now, like I said, I noticed this crack all the way through at 75K, and I was like, well, is this a catastrophic problem, or can I keep running it? And I just kept running it. I didn't notice any difference in accuracy or function or reliability or anything like that. But it's definitely on borrowed time, so to say. And honestly, expecting any kind of firearm to last beyond 100,000 rounds is kind of crazy, especially when you don't have any other significant failures, that kind of stuff. But so this gun is, I would consider, like, it has served its purpose, so to say. I'll keep it as a practice gun and keep shooting it as long as it'll keep performing. But I kind of expect that there's going to be some fallout of other kind of failures due to this crack. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me at some point, since the grip can shift around on the frame. It wouldn't surprise me if this little piece here gets broken off or something like that, or it causes the cracking to start on this other side. So what I'm going to say thank you, Mr. Titan, for 100,000 rounds of dedicated service to me with very, very little drama, and it just has worked great. And let me get this thing back together, and we'll wrap this up. All right, now I have my gun all back together. I think this has been an amazing ride so far at 100,000 rounds. It's hard to ask for much more from any kind of pistol. I mean, that is a tremendous amount of ammunition shot through any firearm without any super catastrophic problems. Yes, the frame is cracked on it. It still functions even though the frame is cracked. Can I expect that to be 100% reliable till the end of its life? I don't know. I haven't shot these guns enough with a full through cracked slide to know, what is the next step in that. I'll probably end up sending this thing back to Atlas to have a new frame put on it. The newer frames that they're manufacturing are much more beefed up in that area to help prevent this kind of an issue. Hopefully we can get this thing back in action, but until then, I think I'm going to commission it for practice and just keep running on it and see how long it'll last. If you're looking for any kind of fire or Atlas Gunworks firearms, please check out the website link I listed below. Buy with confidence. These things are built to very high specifications, and they last a really long time, and you will not be disappointed with the product you receive. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. Until then, be safe, have fun.